Then let's look at policy. You want to adopt what's called a progressive tax policy. A progressive tax policy tends to tax higher percentages on those that are earning more, or find some more money from those that are earning more, and then make sure that the ones that are earning less are taxed a bit less. And some of the populations that are not earning taxable income are left and at least placed a bit on welfare. And the objective of welfare is not an end in itself. Putting people on welfare is supposed to strengthen their position. It's supposed to help them get out of that welfare. That's one of the most one of the objectives of welfare. It's not supposed to be a permanent situation where you have a population that is just sitting there from grandmother to grandkids and they've been poor all along. There has to be some growth out of the poverty. You can see that countries like China have found or created about $400 million millionaires in the last 10 to 15 years. That's really astounding and extremely interesting to see. Reduced poverty to rates seldom seen in any country. So you need to develop a policy that is progressive, and in future, when the poor can earn more, then they can easily buy goods and become a more sustainable market and make the country richer. Imagine if the 400 million who have been made millionaires in China were actually poor and depending on state welfare. Much of the country's wealth would be spent on trying to get them some nutrition and health services. So your tax systems need to be as progressive as possible. Check that you're not overtaxing or overburdening any particular sector, but charge more to those who are earning a bit higher and can sustain it, and then charge, excuse me, charge less to those who are earning much less. Let's look at what we call the structure of the tax system. You don't want to tax or overtax the sector that's earning you your revenue. If 40% of New York's taxes come from property taxes and individuals' income tax, ensure that the structure of that tax does not change so much from one year to the next that it can distort the revenues that you find from people. Don't chase people away because you're charging too much in taxes. Find a way of reducing the costs of production and other costs in your city. Imagine if China would charge manufacturers 60% taxes. Yet manufacturing for a long time was a mainstay of China's economy. What will China do then when manufacturers shut down? That was one of the reasons why Chinese manufacturing beat the rest of the world, because much as they did not have the best staff and the best machines, their labor costs and other taxes were low enough to accommodate all the export and import costs and keep them low such that investors could easily go into China and come up with something at a cost that was lower than producing in their own country. So look at your advantages and stay and structure your tax system in a way that keeps the economy growing. Taxes are one of the main economic issues. If you want to know a secret in this world, uh, one of the simplest ways to keep afloat is as a government. in terms of keeping in the green or having money or in the black is by raising revenue. And one of the key ways of raising revenue is increasing the velocity of money. That is the speed at which money changes hands. So, at the payment options, give give the taxpayer an option to pay where they are. Give the taxpayer an option to pay by phone. Give the taxpayer an option to pay through the bank, to pay through the market system. Whenever they are, increase the rate at which money changes hands and be at those places to collect it. One of the easiest ways to do this is to adopt digital payment systems because you don't have to have humans chasing after people. You have the tax deducted automatically as it's being paid. And that is a key way of raising revenue. But velocity of money, I think we deserve to talk about it when we are talking about macroeconomic policies, and we will do so. But it's one of the critical ways of ensuring that revenue grows faster. Let's talk about operational management of your tax system. What are you going to do in terms of operational management? First, you need to make sure that the people and ways in which this money that's collected is managed has as few seepages as possible. Meaning that now, one, it's not being stolen, two, it's not being misused or pilferage. Well, I think that means the same thing. But it also should mean that you have an operation or management system